everyone, Real Comic Stacks here, and I'm checking out Jango Fett, Star Wars Age of the Republic, and I have really liked these comic books so far. I've done the Qui-Gon Jinn one, I've done the Obi-Wan Kenobi one, and I have the Darth Maul one, and I've read it. I just haven't done a video on it yet, but I've really enjoyed them, because I was laying in bed thinking about it last night, and what it really comes down to is that Star Wars gives us in the movies such broad brushstrokes in some areas, and then we could go back afterwards with good writers, like, and I've said it several times so far. Jody has been the writer on these, and you can go in and you can shade and color some of those areas where there's gaps in the lore and the continuity, and it really does add something. And I think this, honestly, Star Wars and the idea of canon is what makes Star Wars and the fandom for Star Wars kind of a step above the MCU. I now love the MCU, but you go into Marvel Comics and you have 16 different universes, and it breaks out in all different directions. And pretty much in Star Wars we have canon and legends right now, which that's a whole discussion for another day. But I did have to point this out. This is some pretty cool stuff. I've been going. My wife's on a cleaning tear for the new year, and she knocked out some stuff and found this, which is some old stamps from 2007 she had bought me, and then I don't know if she ever gave them to me or not, but but it's pretty cool. I really like that. And then I was flipping through some of my old games and found Star Wars Arcade and Shadows of the Empire, and I'm thinking about getting a capture card and actually doing these streaming. And y'all tell me what you think, though. So let's get to Jango Fett. So this book was good. It starts out, you have a bunch of smugglers, or I'm sorry, bounty hunters, meeting together. They're discussing this is going to be an easy job, and why are we? It's overkill to bring this guy on the job, and it basically comes down to, it's Jango Fett, and he takes whatever job he wants now, because everybody's kind of aware that he has this sweet deal where he's lining his pockets, but he's still doing bounty hunting jobs. Right after they order another round, Jango shows up, and everybody kind of revels in respect for this guy, and rightfully so, because he's built that reputation. And he's got Boba with him. And this is a pretty funny reaction, because the little Ratfink dude he pops up yelling something's following you, and he introduces him. He doesn't hide him. He just says, hey, this is part of his training. He's going to be on this mission with us. And does anybody have a problem with that? And of course nobody has a problem with it. Jango Fett is asking for it, and so they take off on the mission, and Boba's kind of he's kind of throwing some toot here, because I haven't heard of any of these guys. Why can't we work with some of the bounty hunters we actually know, and honestly the bounty hunters that we as fans actually know? And Jango actually explains that knowing them is meaning that you know their work. The thing you're missing here is that the unknown factor, that's the lesson here. It's a good lesson once we get into it. And Boba points out the fact that, hey, Dad, can't you just take the jobs you want? And he said, yeah, I can now, but it took a long time to get here. And it's all about the reputation he's established as a as a bounty hunter. From there, we go to some time ago, it says. And you're having the meeting between JANGO Fett and gosh darn it, what's his name? Tyrannis. And they he's discussing basically, this the offer being, hey, we want to use you as the genetic template for our clone army. And he tells them, hey, you'll have to hang out at Camino quite a bit. You can go elsewhere to do business as you choose, but given what we're going to pay you for this, there's no reason really for you to do anything. And Jango's asking the right questions. He's like, why me? There are plenty of other bounty hunters out there. And he said it's for a couple reasons. One of them is his skill as a bounty hunter, and his skills, period. And the other one is because of his discretion. And discretion, I think, is very key here, because this couldn't get out. You couldn't have a big mouth bounty hunter blabbing how he just got this massive paycheck from the Republic, or from the Jedi Council, or from this Jedi who he believed was representing, whatever. Which I think in the lore, Jango was aware that this was not being done by the... I could be wrong there. I have to go check it out. Y'all correct me in the comments, because I know some of you will know better than I do on the lore revolving around the creation of the clone army. And I knew Jango couldn't stand the Jedi, but anyways, he talks about how this is establishing a legacy, and he asked for one thing in compensation, and we all know that was basically Boba, an unmodified, non-genetically enhanced clone. So from there we go to basically the target. This female here is the one that basically her father has hired the bounty hunters to bring her back alive. Well, we're so in love until Boba Fett shows up. And I said that right, Boba Fett and little Ratfink dude. And they hold him up. Lover boy takes off. He ain't sticking around for this, and she states she's not going back, and she does what any sensible person would do here, and she jumps up on the railing, and right as she does, of course, she slips. She's plummeting, but JANGO Fett, much the way Boba Fett was in Legends, prepares for all things and knew she would get on the rail and fall. So he sweeps in, grabs her up, saves her, and she, this is kind of funny, she's sitting there mumbling, thank you, and he just tases her. He says, that's it, you're out, and knocks her out, and you're thinking, well, all is well, all is right with the world. Well, they go to leave, and Ratfink jumps Boba. And at that moment, it's kind of like, what the heck are you doing? This dude is like, dude, what are you insane? You're messing with JANGO Fett's kid here. You are going to die, and you're going to die so fast. And these two, it's Ratfink and I don't know, what's this? Is it Mini Thing from the Fantastic Four? Is it? I don't know what he is, but they're holding him up, and this cat's just like, you know what, whatever. It's your funeral. I'm backing away, and and they said tell Django to give him the girl, and this isn't going to end well. So we get a flashback before we solve the problem, and it's Django walking, and he's the Genosians are talking to him saying, hey, you must be very proud. And he's like, why? You've basically thrown me on a copy machine, and these are livestock. They're bred for one thing, and that's cannon fodder, and for the Republic. And they're Genosians. They're not Genosians. The Caminos. They just tell. He's like, they're your creation. They're nothing for me to be proud. Did I call them Genosians, or I hope I called them Caminos? Caminoans. At that point, we're back to the Jango Fett and Boba Fett in the new Holdup, and at that moment, it doesn't go well. I said it wasn't gonna go well. It doesn't go well. He just lurches around. Django has full confidence here. He in this training. He's like, he's telling him he's gonna kill him. He's like, yeah, you can try. And he just walks away, and Boba just skull bashes this guy into the ground, and all right, I'm sorry, he blasts him. He blasts him, throws him to the ground, turns around right away, blasts this out of his hand, blasts him. And then it gets a little bit more interesting, because there was a third culprit. Now, this is very interesting because it gets into this guy. This is the guy that broke away. He backed away from the fight. He did not want any part of it. And he picks up a blaster, hands it to Django, and he's like, look, this wasn't me. And but Django gives him being Boba, what do you want to do with this guy? And he sits and thinks about it. He says he didn't seem to be in there part of the queue, but he didn't try to stop it either. And whoa, wait a minute, right? And for that, Django tells him, or straight up, it's your decision, Boba. And he thinks about it, and he really ponders it, and he tells him he can, he forfeits his share of the bounty, but not his life. He can go. So back later on Slave One, when they're flying away, and Django tells him he wasn't sure that he was going to let the Rodian go, and he tells him why he ended up doing it, which is really good. And it goes back to a key point that Django said earlier about building his reputation. And he tells him, look, the other two were a team. They were partners. It made sense for them to try to keep it to themselves if they were going to betray us. And Django kind of catches something. He's like, is that it? And he says, no. And this is what I really liked, is that I want him to tell other bounty hunters what happened today. Just getting that reputation of Boba Fett out there. And I thought that was really cool. So going forward on this series, we got the special #1 coming out next week. We got a Anakin Skywalker, a Count Dooku, and Padme Amidala issues all coming out between now and March. So this has been an exciting series. It goes back to, this is just, they're good stories. They're short little one shots that they just fit good. Jody Houser has done her homework in as the writer, and everything's fit in the lore so far. Qui-Gon Jinn, I think, was by far my favorite one. If you haven't, go check that video out, because it is fantabulous. It is a fantastic read. But guys, that's that's all I got. Tell me what you think. Would anybody actually watch some of the streaming of Shadows of the Empire and old Star Wars arcade for the 32X? They're pretty fun games. I definitely love the Hoth battle on this one. But tell me what you think, guys. That's all I got, and I'm gonna knock my camera over. Real Comic Stacks out.